Hello and welcome everybody to the December 6, 2021 regular meeting of the Hillsborough County City-County Planning Commission. We thank you for attending this meeting. Your comments and participation is encouraged. To minimize feedback in the audio, all participants in the meeting will be muted until it is their opportunity to speak. Planning commissioners should raise their hand or unmute themselves and turn on their camera to indicate that they would like to speak. Please be sure to state your name at the beginning of your remarks for the benefit of the clerk. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments. When your name is called, you will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Please wait until the chair calls on you to begin speaking. State your name at the beginning of your comments and adhere to the time limits. If anyone has difficulties or is watching via HTV and would like to provide comments to be included in the record for local government hearing, please email them to planner@plancom.org. That's planner@plancom.org. For action items, the meeting will be conducted as follows. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentation with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the Planning Commission when recognized by the chair. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal or response. Planning commissioners will ask questions. Public comment will be closed. Then upon a motion, a second, and discussion, a vote will be taken. With that introduction, I'll ask Commissioner Powell to lead us in the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. All rise. Thank you, Commissioner Powell. With that, I would like to ask the clerk to please go ahead and call roll.
Good afternoon. Bernstein?
Here.
Cardenas? Here. Dickerson?
This is Matthew Pleasant sitting in for Amber.
Andy? Andy? Kress?
Here.
Linkus?
Here. Here.
Marino?
Here.
Powell?
Here.
Rodriguez?
Here.
Buzza? Here. Loke?
Here.
Joseph?
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you. With that, we are going to do a little bit of swapping here. We're going to move agenda item E up first here and do the standards of conduct and oath of office for Hillsborough County and City of Plant City appointees. So would the clerk please go ahead and do that?
If members Buzza and Loke could get in front of microphones, please, so that we have this on audio. If they could stand, raise their right hands, and repeat after me. I, your names.
I, Matt Buzza,
A Planning Commission appointee of the Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners.
a Planning Commission appointee of the Plant City Commission,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully perform the duties
that I will faithfully perform the duties
of my appointed office
of my appointed office
and will support and honor to the best of my ability
And will support and honor to the best of my ability
all applicable laws
all applicable laws
of the state of Florida,
of the state
of
of
the state of Florida,
Hillsborough County,
Hillsborough County,
as well as the bylaws,
as well as the bylaws,
beliefs, vision, mission,
beliefs, vision, mission,
policies, procedures, and standards of conduct
policies, procedures, and standard of conduct
of the Hillsborough County
of the
the
Hillsborough
Hillsborough
County
County
City-County Planning Commission.
City County
Planning
Commission.
Commission.
I hereby, through this oath,
I hereby through this oath
affirm that I will perform the duties
affirm that I will perform the duties
of this public trust
of this public trust
in a fair, equitable, and ethical manner,
in a fair, equitable, and ethical manner,
befitting the dignity and responsibilities of the office.
befitting the dignity and responsibilities of the office.
Thank you.
Thank you both, and welcome aboard Commissioners Buzza, Commissioner Loke. All right, moving on to our next agenda item of business, we have the approval of November meeting minutes. And that is regular meeting for November 8th, 2021, public hearing on City of Tampa Plan Amendments, November 8th, 2021, and the public hearing on Hillsborough County Plan Amendments, November 8th, 2021. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, that's a motion of approval by Commissioner Powell, a second by Commissioner Marino. Is there any discussion of this item among the commissioners? Seeing none at this time, I'll ask the clerk to do a roll call vote.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas? Yes. Kress?
Yes.
Linkus?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Buzza?
I'll abstain since I wasn't here to affirm those meeting minutes. Thank you.
Loke?
I will abstain as well.
Joseph?
Yes.
The motion carried 7-0. Members Buzza and Loke abstained.
Did we get Commissioner Handy's vote?
I'm sorry, I didn't show Handy as present. Handy?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion carried 8-0. Commissioners Buzza and Loke abstained.
Thank you. All right. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. All right, moving on to our next agenda item, item number 2, public input, and there was none for non-action items, so we will move on to our next agenda item 3, action items. And the first one is 3A, City of Tampa Land Development Code, LDC text amendments, LDC 27-162, 27-156 footnote 2, and 272837, and 2782.10. The staff presenter is Danny Collins.
Mr. Collins, if speaking, I believe you're muted.
Sorry about that. There we go. This is Danny Collins with your Planning Commission staff. Today I'll be presenting a City of Tampa LDC text amendment which seeks to amend 4 sections of the zoning code. Just a quick overview. The Planning Commission heard this LDC text amendment at the November 9th Planning Commission regular meeting. The request is privately initiated. The request is a privately initiated amendment that seeks 4 changes to Section 27 of the Land Development Code. There was an error in the resolution, and we're back today before you to correct it for the record. Here is a slide showing the error that was in the resolution. The strike through shows the incorrect section. So the incorrect section was 27-288.7. The red underline shows the correct section. It's 283.7. The Planning Commission voted unanimously 9-0 to recommend approval of the item to Tampa City Council at your meeting on November 9th. Due to these changes, the Planning Commission staff has we have no changes to our finding. And based on those considerations, Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed LDC text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Vision 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, That concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
Were there any presentations from the city or?
No, we're just here back before you to correct just an error in the sections that were on the resolution.
All right, sounds good. All right, there's no public comment sign up on this one, so I will turn it over to the commissioners for discussion of this item. Seeing none in the room, I will go on ahead and close the public comment section of this, and I will open it up to motions from the commissioners on this item. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion. We find the proposed LDC text amendment, LDC 27-162, 27-156 footnote 2, 27-283.7, and 27-282.1 consistent with Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and for this recommendation to Tampa City Council.
Second.
All right, I have a motion for consistency finding by Commissioner Powell, a second to that motion by Commissioner Marino. Is there any more discussion of this item from the commissioners? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Blinkus?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Buzza?
Yes.
Loke?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 10-0.
Thank you. All right, next item up for business is action item 3A2, LDC 27147, 27148, and 27151, text amendment process, amend text amendment process. And the presenter is Danny Collins again.
This is Danny Collins again with your Planning Commission staff. Today we're presenting the City of Tampa LDC text amendment, which seeks to amend the LDC text amendment process. Just a quick overview, the Planning Commission heard this LDC text amendment at the November 9th Planning Commission regular meeting. The request is a publicly initiated amendment that seeks to amend Section 27 of the Land Development Code relating to the LDC text amendment process. There was an error in the resolution, and we're back today before you to correct this for the record. Here is a slide showing the error that was in the resolution.
Mr. Collins, we aren't seeing the slide. I believe you have to reshare it again.
Should I start from the beginning? Start from the beginning. This is Danny Collins with your Planning Commission staff. Today I'll be presenting a City of Tampa LDC text amendment, which seeks to amend the LDC text amendment process. Just a quick overview, the Planning Commission heard this LDC text amendment at the November 9th Planning Commission regular meeting. The request is a publicly initiated amendment that seeks to amend Section 27 of the Land Development Code relating to the LDC text amendment process. There was an error in the resolution, and we're back today for you to correct this for the record. Here is a slide showing the error that was in the resolution. The strike through shows the incorrect section. So the incorrect section was LDC Section 27-167. The corrected section is shown in red and it's underlined. It's 27-147. The Planning Commission voted unanimously 9-0 to recommend approval of this item to Tampa City Council at your meeting on November 9th. Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed LDC text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. All right. We also had no one from the public sign up to give any comments on this one. So I will turn it over to the commissioners for comments or questions on this item. It's time. Seeing none in the room, I'll go ahead and open it up to the commissioners for motions on this item. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion that we find the proposed LDC text amendment, LDC 27-147, 27-148, and 27-151, consistent with the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and for this recommendation to Tampa City Council.
Second.
That's a consistency finding, a motion of consistency finding from Commissioner Powell, a second to that motion by Commissioner Marino. Is there any more discussion of this item from the commissioners? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Linkus?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Buzza?
Yes.
Loke?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 10-0.
Thank you. All right, on to our next action item, 3B, proposed amendment to the community redevelopment plan for the Tampa Heights Riverfront Community Redevelopment Area. Community Redevelopment Area CRA consistency finding, and the presenter is Jennifer Malone.
Hi, Planning Commissioners, Jennifer Malone here with your staff. I'm here to present on the amendment to the Community Redevelopment Plan for the Tampa Heights Riverfront Community Redevelopment Area. Throughout this presentation, I will likely be referring to it as the Tampa Heights Riverfront CRA, just for ease of not saying that over and over again. So this is a privately initiated amendment to the CRA plan, and review by the Planning Commission is required under state statute under section 163, 360, and subsection 4. The proposed language before you seeks to allow for public-private partnerships to support cultural facilities and venues within the Tampa Heights Riverfront CRA. It's also changing, proposed changes to Part 10, timing of redevelopment. That change will clarify and align the CRA plan with the adopted Fourth Amendment, with the 2015 adopted Fourth Amendment of the plan and current interlocal agreements. We did find this consistent with the comprehensive plan because the Central Tampa Planning District is identified as the primary urban employment, civic, and cultural center, and that entertainment and cultural facilities are important to foster that vibrant urban lifestyle. So this amendment will further that policy direction by allowing those public-private partnerships to occur within the Tampa Heights Riverfront CRA. So with that, we found this consistent with the comprehensive plan. City staff is on the line. Michelle with the city CRA department is here to answer any of your questions. So I will just return it over to her. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, Planning Board members. This is Morris Massey with the City Attorney's Office. I'm here with Michelle Van Loan, and we're here to answer any questions, but we would appreciate your finding of consistency today, unless you have some specific concerns or questions.
All right, thank you. There was no one signed up for public comment on this one either, so we will go ahead and turn it over to the commissioners for discussion, questions, or comments on this item. Not seeing any in the room. Oh, sorry, Commissioner Powell, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I had two questions. First of all, and I think this is more for Melissa, is it usual for CRAs to have a specific end date? Is that typical? Yeah.
Michelle Van Loan, CRA Director. Yes, all of our CRAs have expiration dates.
Okay.
And we're mandated by state law to have specific dates for conclusion of redevelopment activities.
Okay. What was the original end date?
It was not specific in the last amendment, and so we want to make sure it specifically is consistent with the interlocal agreement we have with Hillsborough County regarding the life of the CRAs.
Okay. And then my second question is, did we get a briefing on this?
No, we did not.
Okay. All right. would have been nice. A lot of information to unpack here. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Powell. Was there any more discussion or questions from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any lights going on in the room, I'll go ahead and close the public comment and open it up to motions from the commissioners on this item. Commissioner Marino.
I move that we find the Tampa Heights Riverfront CRA Community Redevelopment Plan Amendment consistent with the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan and forward this recommendation to Tampa City Council.
I'll second Commissioner Kress.
All right, I have a motion of consistency finding from Commissioner Marino. That's a second to that motion by Commissioner Kress. Is there any more discussion of this item from the commissioners? Seeing no comments, I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Linkus?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Buzza?
Yes.
Loke?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 10-0.
Thank you. All right, on to our non-action items. Number 4, our briefings and presentations. And we will start with 4A, City of Tampa Comprehensive Plan Update 2022 Visioning and Work Program. And the presenter is Melissa Dickens, Jennifer Malone, and Stephen Benson.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Melissa Dickens, Planning Commission staff. I'm joined this afternoon by our agency's City of Tampa liaison, Jennifer Malone, as well as the new City of Tampa Planning Director, Stephen Benson. And this afternoon, we're going to be sharing plans for 2022 with respect to the City of Tampa Comprehensive Plan Update. The focus of the presentation will be a discussion of our plans for visioning efforts, as well as the overall work program for next year. Next slide. And before we delve into the details for our work program, we wanted to start out by setting the stage with our current comprehensive plan context. As you all are familiar with, the current adopted comprehensive plan is the Imagine 2040 comprehensive plan. It's the plan that is in place today. We've done some initial looking at the plan. It's quite large. There are approximately 1,600 goals, objectives, and policies throughout the plan. And the plan was last updated in 2016. Now, that 2016 update was primarily focused on tweaks and quick fixes, quick edits. And so now we're gearing up for a more substantive update, a major update, similar to what we've been working on with Hillsborough County. And as part of this update, we generally have 3 things that we see right now with respect to updating the language. The first is streamlining, updating, and consolidating the language. We'd also like to make the language and the plan more user-friendly, use more visuals, make it a little bit easier for citizens and stakeholders to understand. And then we also want to enhance the coordination of the language across sections. So ensuring or enhancing the ways that different aspects of the plan speak to one another. And for 2022, our initial focus is on analysis of existing conditions, the existing plan, areas of opportunity, and then also work on updating the vision. Next slide, please. And so for the vision and update process, our staff will be drafting and developing the vision for the comprehensive plan update. We'll also be closely coordinating with City of Tampa staff. As I believe this board has seen, we've found a great deal of benefit through close collaboration with our jurisdictional partners on major updates. By collaborating with our jurisdictional partners, we ensure that we're updating the plan in a way that ensures that it's implementable in projects and programs. that a plan update is linked to current strategic priorities and current city initiatives, and also that it provides a framework for future planning initiatives and secondary planning efforts. The vision informs not only the comprehensive plan update, but also other city planning efforts. And so with that, I wanted to introduce and turn it over to Mr. Stephen Benson. Stephen is the new City of Tampa Planning Director, and as many of you know, is a former planning commissioner. So we are thrilled to be collaborating with him on this update. Stephen?
Thank you, Melissa. This is great. Next slide. Really looking forward to being able to be a partner with the Planning Commission as we go through this comp plan update. I wanted to provide you with some initial information about the City Planning Department. Our department was reestablished in October of 2020, comprised of a team of subject matter experts from various departments, including mobility, land development, as well as natural resources. Our emerging core service areas are four. There are four of them. It's project management, code, administration, and maintenance, policy analysis and research, and education, training, and outreach. And comprehensive planning and citywide planning is, of course, our fifth core service area as well. As far as policy emphasis and strategic initiatives, our emphasis right now is working towards the Transforming Tampa's Tomorrow strategic vision, which includes focusing on transportation, housing, economic opportunity, as well as sustainability and resilience. And then here on the screen to the right are just a handful of some of our current projects that are underway. And we're so excited to be able to be here today and partner with Planning Commission staff as we move into this update. And it's great to see each of you, and I really look forward to working with you to go through this process. Next slide. So looking a little bit at where we anticipate growth coming in the future, this map should look familiar. This is the 2045 map that was produced as part of the It's Time Tampa Bay scenario planning process back in 2016. This is showing additional 77,000 new homes, additional 108,000 new residents, and an additional 258,000 new jobs coming just to the city of Tampa by 2045. And these numbers are really significant for us because you can see it's about almost a 50% increase in the number of homes, almost a 30% increase in the number of residents, but almost an 80% increase in the number of jobs. So as we look to develop our vision, we want to make sure that our vision is also compatible with the vision of the unincorporated county, as well as our partner agencies in Temple Terrace and Plant City. And you can see just by comparing those job numbers, the amount of jobs is nearly double the amount of residents that we anticipate receiving. And so that really adds another layer of complexity to how we plan for the future and how we're going to be bringing people in to access that employment going forward. Next slide. So as we talk about growth, we also want to be sensitive to change. Growth and change are two distinct concepts. We know that we've seen an immense amount of growth and change just in the last 10 years here in the city of Tampa. And so we wanted to go through some representative examples of some of the changes that we're seeing throughout our community so that we can establish a context by which we want to be able to encourage and influence growth and change in the future. Next slide. So looking at some before and after examples, this is an example of an area of change in a neighborhood in South Tampa. You can see that we have a series of single-family homes, one story, and really what is maybe perhaps a typical single-family residential neighborhood. Next slide. So looking at just over the course of a couple of years, you can see that there's been quite a bit of change. The neighbor on the left, I think, has trimmed his trees, and the neighbor in the center has completely replaced his home with a much larger home. And we know that even though we wouldn't necessarily quantify this as growth because it's one housing unit replacing one housing unit, we do want to acknowledge that this is significant change for this neighborhood and really think about how we can structure our plan to acknowledge and respect and guide change going forward beyond just the typical ways that we manage growth. Next slide. So again, we see from a housing standpoint, we went from 1 unit to 1 unit. From a form standpoint, a really significant change, a home that's over twice as large as the one that was there before. And then within the context of our comp plan, we acknowledge that there was no plan amendment to lead to this change. It was within consistent within the parameters of our existing plan. Next slide. Now looking sort of across the spectrum at a more dramatic example of high growth and high change. This is, of course, the downtown waterfront adjacent to the Channel District. Next slide. And that was the before condition, and this is the not quite today condition. This is as of a couple of months ago. It even looks a lot different just today. And we see that, of course, this is the Water Street Phase 1 redevelopment project. Next slide. And so what does this mean for our plan? Well, we went from 0 housing units in this sub area of the city to 1,300 housing units. From a form standpoint, of course, it doesn't get much more dramatic than the change in form that we see here on the screen, from vacant and underutilized land into a fully fledged master planned high density neighborhood. And then from a planning standpoint, we acknowledge that this was planned for, and there was no actual amendment or change to our comp plan as part of this this project. Next slide. Looking at further north towards the Seminole Heights neighborhood, this is an image of a car lot on Florida Avenue. This is the before condition. Next slide. And this is the after condition. This is really significant because our current comp plan really focuses our growth strategy on how to see mixed-use development occur along many of our commercial corridors. And so looking here at how we can quantify this from a housing standpoint, we went from 0 units to about 70 units on the same parcel. From a form standpoint, we went from an auto-oriented use, a car lot, to a mixed-use building with retail and commercial spaces on the first floor and housing on the upper floors. And from a future land use standpoint, there was no change. This is part of the adopted vision for Seminole Heights and was developed in accordance with the form-based code that the city has adopted for the Seminole Heights area. Next slide. And now looking at the West Shore Palms area of Tampa, this is the before condition. This is a single-family home, of course, on what appears to be nearly a double lot in West Shore Palms. Next slide. And this is the after condition. Next slide. I think there are the metrics there. So we see that this went from 1 housing unit to 4 units. So it is certainly growth. We would maybe call it low or medium growth, but nowhere near the degree of growth that maybe is occurring in downtown in the Water Street example. Looking at the form, this is a significant change in physical form, almost a 500% increase in the building floor area on this parcel, and then no change to the future land use. So this did occur within the parameters of the future land use category for this parcel. Next slide. So looking towards the future, one of our goals is really to modernize the approach that we're taking with city planning and really asking a couple of questions. And the first is, how do we go about managing growth in a society that appears to be ever-changing at an increasingly rapid pace? How do we address our city's most critical challenges while also balancing those realities with our community's vision for the future? Just some of those issues that continue to become even more pressing include our housing affordability crisis, the red-hot housing market that our region is experiencing right now, and what that is meaning for folks that already live here, but also folks that are going to be moving here in the future. We know that climate change and sea level rise continue to be an issue that we look at closely. And then looking at even just the issue of the pandemic and the trends and how that is affecting urban planning decisions, both here but throughout the country, taking all of these issues and looking at the best practices that exist and how we can integrate that back into our plan and make sure that it's fresh and that it's keeping up with the times. Next slide. And now I'll pass it over, no, actually, I think this is mine. So looking at the summary of some recent outreach that's occurred, even just within the last several years, we know that there's been a huge amount of listening going on from the Plan Hillsborough non-discrimination and equity plan to some of the work that we have already done with our Transforming Tampa's Tomorrow strategic initiatives, to the citywide mobility plan that is currently under development, Tampa Moves, as well as research that we are doing in our response to sea level rise and our Resilient Tampa roadmap for reinforcing the city's ability to remain sustainable into the future. Next slide, and you can see here how, with all of these different efforts, we've been doing a lot of listening and a lot of learning from what our community wants to see going forward, and how these issues should be reflected both in the strategies and the policies and the programs that the city leads and that the city implements, but also the overarching vision and the vision of our comp plan. And so that's what we are currently working on doing now. Next slide. And now I'll pass it over to Melissa, who'll go over how those existing plans and existing engagement activities translate into our new vision for the future.
Thanks so much, Stephen. So Stephen mentioned the listening to the community, to the learning from the community, and all of these prior outreach and planning efforts. So we wanted to build upon these previous planning exercises and engagement initiatives to develop the first and initial steps of the vision. We have been listening a lot in the community. We didn't want the citizens to feel like we were starting from scratch. Between our agency and the city of Tampa, we've been getting some great insights from what our residents would like to see in the future. So the process by which we're starting the vision and we're starting to get more community input on the vision is looking at some initial common findings. So looking at the plans that Stephen mentioned, the existing City of Tampa vision, we feel that there are 9 common themes that come out of these planning efforts. And what we'd like to do, and Jennifer will elaborate a little bit more on this, but take these common vision themes and get the community's feedback on the themes. Did we hear you correctly? Did we get this right? How can we add to these vision themes? How can we begin to flesh them out to more further develop a vision? And so the 9 common themes that came out of these existing plans and prior engagement are really broad. They really represent the broad work of planning for a city like Tampa. They are, real briefly, sustainable and equitable infrastructure, protecting natural areas, aspects of planning that relate how people experience their neighborhoods, such as sense of place and community, having an integrated and complete mix of uses. We also heard the importance of efficient use of land and resources. The prior planning efforts, many of them spoke to safe and accessible mobility options. They also spoke to economic growth for all, so really inclusive economic growth. Also, as Stephen mentioned, housing choice and accessibility and affordability is a big topic for our residents. And then finally, resiliency, specifically resilient to climate change and natural hazards. Next slide. And so we plan on taking those 9 themes, probably having some of our communications and engagement folks help us make sure that we're developing the right questions to get good feedback, and then placing them on the web pages that we'll be creating as part of this effort. So there will be one related to the plan update and one related to the vision, 2 separate web pages. These web pages are still under development, but we wanted to share that this will be a critical part of the public outreach and one of the first phases that you'll see coming over the next few weeks. And with that, I think we'll advance to the next slide and then turn it over to Jennifer Malone to talk about next steps. Thanks.
Hi, Jennifer Malone again. So I'll just close us out on speaking on our future steps and how we're going to get outreach on the vision. So I just want to highlight that the outreach will be continual as the update progresses. So there will be quite a bit of outreach. And as Melissa stated earlier, we're hoping to refine the vision themes with a second round of outreach. We'll do this through a survey, which will be on our website. I'm just going to build upon and leverage feedback from the previous outreach. We're also hoping to host online town halls, but also have that in-person component for those that don't wish to be virtual, but we're hoping to get a broad range of folks through those 3 methods. Next slide, please. We're also going to look at these other related studies and coordination that the Planning Commission has done and the City of Tampa. So some of these you've seen, some of them you're seeing soon, like the mixed use policy study is next on your agenda, but we want that work to feed into this update. You might remember the industrial land study or the coastal high hazard areas study from a couple years ago. The city has also worked on some neighborhood plans, a citywide mobility plan, and a coastal area action plan that will need to feed into this update as well. So the studies aren't just sitting on a shelf. We want to utilize all that hard work that staff has done and look into it and see how we can feed it into the plan. It's impossible to capture every study on this slide, but this is representative of the ones that we are thinking of at this time, but I'm sure we'll pull other studies in as well. And next slide. Lastly, we have the 2022 Plan Update Work Program. So we see outreach is in the middle because it's going to inform everything that we're doing, and it's a continual process. So we're hoping to update the vision. We'll also have a future land use category assessment study in the works. We're hoping to get consultant help with that, and this board will approve that hopefully early next year. So that will be before you. That consultant will look at all of our future land use categories in the city and see what's working and what's not working and how we can improve those. We're also looking to kick off an update to the One Water section or create a One Water section. The city wants to start on this. We have great feedback from the work with the county. So Melissa Dickens is going to kick that off and spearhead that effort. And we're also hoping to get started on the mobility section next year as well. So 2022 will be a big year for the City of Tampa Plan Update. And with that, next slide, please. I'm open for questions and open discussion for myself and Stephen Benson and Melissa Dickens. So thank you all for your time today.
Thank you, Ms. Malone. Are there any comments or questions, discussion on this item from the commissioners? It's not an action item, so it's just for information at this point in time. Yes, Commissioner Kress.
Thank you. Great presentation. I wondered if you could give us a sense of the overall timing of, I know you said what the next steps are, but when do you expect to have it completed and updated?
The entire plan? Mm-hmm. I will defer to Melissa Dickens.
Sure. So we are taking a similar approach to Hillsborough County in that we are focusing on these updates in phases. We want to make sure that we have it coordinated with some other studies that may be feeding into different aspects of the plan. So really right now we have 2022 mapped out, but beyond that we're still looking at the overall timing in terms of getting everything updated.
So items will come kind of periodically as they're fleshed out, as opposed to one giant plan at the very end for approval?
That's correct. We've gotten some feedback from stakeholders and from various other members of the public that it's actually easier for them to comment and provide feedback when it comes in phases. Also, it's easier for staff in terms of a work programming perspective to make sure that we're able to adequately coordinate. So similar to how we've been approaching the county update, we'll be taking a similar phased approach with the city.
Great, thank you. And just last comment, hopefully there'll be some recommendations on internal resources that can implement all of the great things that the citizens want to see, because I know, employees are often pretty stretched to try to get it all done.
Thank you, Commissioner Kress. All right, Commissioner Handy.
Thank you. Yeah, a couple of comments and questions. I'm of course glad to see that climate change and sea level rise is being covered here since the last update was, I guess, over 5 years ago. so much has happened since then, and I think we could add to that list some of the issues that we've seen recently with increased pollution, red tide, water issues. And it was really interesting to see those slides with the changes in, not a change in land use, but a change in the type of land use, like on the single-family homes, and the going from zero to, from several hundred to 70 residences. I feel, based on, this is more county than city, but based on experience with growth management, is that we're managing for growth, but what are we doing to assess the effect on existing residents? I would love to see what those current and historic residents and business owners too, what was the effect on those changes to them, the surrounding community, the surrounding neighborhoods, what happened to their quality of life and to their traffic and their neighborhoods as a result of those, as you said, very significant changes to the adjacent land uses. So that's one question, and also the additional, even just the twice as large residential construction, or the ones that went from single family to it looked like a fourplex with additional roofs and driveways, and how are we addressing the additional impervious surface and runoff and accompanying pollution, and basically how these updates are addressing all of those items that I think should be of great concern to existing residents and the historic land uses, and not just the new people or the new businesses coming in. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll start out generally and then turn it over to Jennifer first. But one of the reasons that we started with the existing outreach that's already happened is we wanted to make sure that we were getting a good pulse from our existing residents. So what are they seeing in terms of traffic in their neighborhood? What are they seeing in terms of new development, and how is it impacting them? That's of critical importance to the plan update. We know we're going to be seeing, those new people, those new homes, those new jobs. But really, first and foremost, we want to plan for the residents who are here today. So certainly, getting their feedback from prior outreach efforts, and also from future outreach efforts as we move forward on the vision, is going to be paramount in terms of making sure that we're listening and making sure that we're starting to understand, what they're experiencing today, and what future growth and future change may impact. And then secondly, with respect to stormwater, we're certainly going to be looking holistically at our stormwater policies. That's something that will be happening most likely as part of the One Water chapter. So that will be an opportunity for us to look in depth, make sure that those policies are working the way that we should. The Planning Commission and the comprehensive plan is one tool in the toolkit for addressing stormwater issues, but I know that green infrastructure and low impact development are priorities of the city, and so we're going to be looking at our comprehensive plan and seeing within our scope how we can positively influence that.
All right. Good questions, Commissioner Handy, and good comments. Were there any more? Yes, Commissioner Marino, go ahead, please.
Thank you. This question, I don't know if it's best for Stephen or Melissa. Can you walk me through the scenario of managing population growth? If the city takes a position that, or if there is a position of one of the governments to maybe limit growth or direct growth in a certain way, does that then factor into the relationship with the other municipalities? If we're going to have, X number of people here by 2045, how much of that prediction is for each municipality? And, does one city or county saying, well, we don't want this much, does that then have a cascading effect towards those other entities?
I'll take I can jump in, and then I may need Melissa's or Nita's institutional knowledge to help with this, or Sean's here as well. But the 2016 projections that were part of the It's Time Tampa Bay, those were coordinated with all 4 local governments. So all 4 local governments had an opportunity to weigh in and provide input. And so really this is the long-term population projections as reviewed and coordinated with the 4 local governments. Sean, I don't know if you have anything that you'd like to add as project manager.
Yes, Commissioner, I do work, I'm Sean Powers, Planning Commission staff, and I work on our population projections here at the Planning Commission. When we do these population projections, and the next one will be done approximately 2023, we do incorporate policy that we know any of the jurisdictions may be enacting. So if we have concrete evidence, it sounds like you're asking a hypothetical, and the hypothetical would be if we had some concrete reasonable assurance that a local jurisdiction was instituting policy that would limit their population growth, then we would incorporate that into our projections, and the result could mean some of increased population for other jurisdictions or outside the county.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to add, staff did a great job answering that. I was just going to dovetail into this, that this is why we look at the projections every 5 years. They're not something that are adopted. They're a planning tool to help us identify how much growth the state, through the Bureau of Economic and Business Research, thinks that our region will get. They look at the state, then they take down to the regional level, then they take it down to the county level, and then it's our job to look at how that will be distributed across Hillsborough County. It's not a mandate that 600,000 more people are going to come here. It's just their best estimate based on what they know and the trends that we have in growth that they've seen, and things that they know about other parts of the state as well and the country. So that changes regularly, and that's why our plans have to evolve and be fluid to adapt to those changes. COVID is a perfect example of one of those disruptors that, we had projected certain things in terms of office space, for example. Might have had a big disruptor on how much office space we might need in the future as people are rethinking how they work. There are different trends in terms of how people's desirability of different areas in our community. South County is the hot real estate market right now because there's available land, or there was. I don't know if there's so much anymore. So those are the types of things that we're tracking and that we try to incorporate in, and then make sure that all 4 local governments come together. And at a staff level, when we're doing this, we coordinate quite heavily with all 4 local governments together. Because if Plant City is going to grow and they're annexing a lot of land in the northeast area of the city, that's something that needs to be coordinated with the county and, things along the jurisdictional boundaries. And so it's more art than science, probably, and something that has to be looked at on a continual basis. But there also are ramifications of putting our heads in the sand and saying there's not going to be any more growth, because that would not plan for what we anticipate to be coming, whether they get here by 2040, 2045, 2050, 2060. Eventually, they're probably going to get here. And I think our community will be better served if we have planned for that than us not having planned for it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And just so one last question then, and I think Sean kind of hit on the head when I was talking about hypothetical. If I have this correct, Pasco County has talked about a moratorium on multifamily in certain areas And the justification for it was they need to protect commercial property, or commercial or industrial property. I don't think we have had a conversation to that extent in Hillsborough County or City of Tampa or Temple Tires or Plant City. But using that as a hypothetical, if staff, whether it be for any of the four local governments that we have, if staff is working on a plan and they get feedback saying, well, no, we want this to happen, and it's contrary to their expertise, do they have the ability to say, well, if we're going to grow like this and we're going to meet this population projection or this jobs projection, we do need this policy, as opposed to something that may be more restrictive and down the line causes more problems, where in the near term it looks fine. But 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we're wondering, why is this road congested? Well, it's because the 50,000 people we said would live on this street, they finally showed up. But when we created the plan, we didn't want that to happen.
Right. Ultimately, our job, your job, is to make recommendations to the local government. And so a large part of that is educating the community, our elected officials, on the choices and the potential pros and cons and consequences of those choices. Ultimately, the elected officials make the adopted policy, which then we would reflect in our projections. But over my 20 years, the adopted policy has changed quite a bit in different ways. And so I think that's why we continue to update. We have a new administration at the City of Tampa who's very eager to look at how to transform Tampa into a more vibrant place with a higher quality of life, and that's an exciting opportunity to get to partner with them on.
Thank you. Commissioner Powell, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Actually, to sort of piggyback on what my fellow commissioner was bringing up, do we have sort of like a chart, and if not, I didn't see it in the presentation, but if we could have it when it comes back as an action item, of like how we've been planning, since, maybe for like the past 20 years, hey, 20 years ago, we were projecting 200,000 people, and now we're up to, 600,000 people. How that growth has exponentially grown, and have we been on target in planning for that, because 20 years, did we properly plan 20 years ago for today?
Yeah, we actually, at the start of doing the 2045 projections, took a look at the Bureau of Economic and Business Research creates a low, medium, and high projection, and the state statute guides us to choose the medium projection unless there's some overwhelming reason to pick high or low. So traditionally, we have chosen that medium projection, and we looked backwards kind of to see how it has done. And it's held up remarkably well. There's certainly blips between the 5 or 10 year increments where it might not have been exactly on track, but over time, their projections do hold up very well, and that's what we utilize in our planning. But certainly we can bring that back. We have those charts from a year or two ago when we did that work.
Yeah, that would be great.
Sure.
And then my second question, with the population growth, those numbers are coming down from the state. Is that based off the 2020 census, or is that within our own metrics within the state and the local municipalities, and what we're actually seeing, as population, what we're actually seeing as growth?
So we haven't, and I don't know if Sean's still on and if he has any other information, but we haven't gotten the 2050 projection from the state yet. And that latest release of projections, I would anticipate, because the census data was a little late coming out, and so I believe they will incorporate those in the next set of projections.
Okay, thank you.
Good questions, Commissioner Powell. Commissioner Bernstein, did you have anything down there? I can't see your light, so I'm just checking. Were there any more comments? Commissioner Handy, yes, please.
Yeah, just another quick comment. It sounds like the City of Tampa is pointing in the right direction to finally do some really positive planning to ensure the vibrant community that Melissa mentioned, which is great and very exciting. It's come up a few times, and just recent articles that I've read about getting away from traditional planning where we are all about accommodating growth, whether we like it or not. I get very frustrated when I hear things like, well, it's coming, so we better plan for it, or we better be ready. Well, we don't better be nothing if we don't want it. And I think that our jobs need to be just as much protecting what we have, historic existing residents, historic existing resources, as the coming onslaught that tends to really reduce quality of life and quality of our resources and jeopardizes often many communities. So I am happy to see it looks like the city of Tampa is going in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Handy. All right, were there any more comments? I just wanted to say for my own part, I wanted to thank staff again for the great work they did. I know I've been harassing you all for a year now with all these updates and stuff, but I think it really shows how on point and sharp you are. You batted all these questions and comments back like they were nothing. And I think I can tell in the structuring of this kind of diagrammatic setup for what you guys are going to do with Tampa Comprehensive, I can see the steps that we took in our county comprehensive stuff coming through. So I think that's really cool. And I would recommend to Mr. Benson, rely on county staff. They do a great job. So, and that was it for me. Were there any more comments from the commissioners on this item?
Yeah, this is Matt Pleasant with the school district. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, please go ahead.
So it's just a quick comment, and I want to thank you guys for the presentation. It's really exciting, and just kind of put out there that hopefully as you guys are going through this process, we'll find some opportunities to kind of engage with each other at the school district. We're, as a planner here, we're always right there at that intersection of transportation and housing. So, and we have some work coming up that I think would be helpful for you guys to kind of be aware of, and vice versa. So I look forward to hopefully having that opportunity.
Very cool.
Great,
thank you, Mr. Pleasant. And my apologies for not recognizing you earlier. A lot going on up here for me, but thank you for speaking up with those comments.
Thank you.
Any more comments from the commissioners on this item? More discussion? Not seeing any, then we will thank staff for their time and we will move on to our next item. All right. Next up, we have item 4B. It's another briefing, and it is Tampa Mix Use Study, and the presenter is Sofia Garantiva.
Hello there. Good afternoon, commissioners. Let me just share my screen. All right. Again, good afternoon. Sofia Garantiva, Planning Commission staff, here to present the Tampa Mix Use Study. In this presentation, I'll provide a overview of the study, including the study purpose and parameters. I'll briefly review the City of Tampa's current approach to mixed use, review the recommendations for the Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and supporting recommendations for the Land Development Code. And then I'll provide a summary of the City of Tampa Council meeting held on December 2nd, 2021, and review the next steps. So the study's purpose. The work was undertaken at the request of the City of Tampa to examine and summarize how other jurisdictions guide and regulate mixed-use development and provide recommendations for further discussion. For our study parameters, the Planning Commission staff examined existing mixed-use categories within the City of Tampa and how regulation and implementation of these categories compared to 12 other jurisdictions. The jurisdictions were selected based on having a similar geography, size, development pattern to Tampa, and or having a reputation for implementing mixed-use policies. Some of the jurisdictions included Portland, Oregon, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Orlando, Florida. All of the 12 jurisdictions have their own worksheet pages as provided in the report attachments. The worksheets have more detailed information on how each jurisdiction organizes their mixed-use policies and implementation strategies. So continuing with how the City of Tampa currently approaches mixed use development is defined by the Tampa Comprehensive Plan as a type of development that combines a mix of uses that may include residential, commercial, and or office uses within one building or multiple buildings with direct pedestrian access between uses. So mixed use is not required, but it is encouraged through policy in the Comprehensive Plan. There are 10 land use categories that include mixed use in the name or allow mixed-use development along the same parameters. none of the 10 categories require mixed-use development, but many promote or incentivize it through different policy directives, either described in the category itself or location-specific. The categories allow for consideration for single-use high-density residential development, single-use commercial, or mixed-use development, and does so without locational criteria as found within other land use categories in the city. Categories were sometimes placed in certain locations to get a specific land use or a higher density and intensity, not necessarily to produce mixed-use developments, such as mixed-use buildings with non-residential and residential uses in the same structure. The following were considered key questions that Planning Commission staff sought to answer through this study, which ultimately led to the recommendations. We first asked, are there policies mentioning minimum and/or maximum percentages for uses within a land use category? In our research, we found that a minimum or maximum percentage threshold within categories was rare. Only one of the 12 jurisdictions we looked at required a minimum percentage of uses for their mixed-use categories, which was the city of Fort Lauderdale. In Fort Lauderdale's 5 designated mixed-use categories, they require a minimum of 2 uses within the development, one being residential and a minimum of 10% for any one use. These categories are only available for use for parcels 50 acres or less in size. And then in the few instances where the requirement was found within a comprehensive plan category, how was it used? Other jurisdictions do have minimums and maximums, but they were not expressed in the percentage format. They were expressed in other forms, or there was a caveat. For example, a non-residential use on the first floor of your building may be required for a category, but there was no policy direction given for how that is interpreted, accomplished, or implemented. In other cases, the minimums and the maximums were localized or prioritized to a specific area, such as a node, an intersection, or corridor, or mixed-use density and intensity was tiered based on thresholds and other criteria. So that meant that the category allowed for a single-use development up to a certain threshold, FAR or square footage, and anything above that required another use to be incorporated, making it a mixed-use development. We also asked, how do other jurisdictions incentivize mixed use? Through methods such as relaxing of parking requirements and density and intensity bonus programs were some of the most common. The city of Orlando incentivizes mixed use with intensity and density bonuses within mixed use corridors. And some small coastal California cities tier their intensity requirements, as was briefly described, only allowing more intense development to occur in certain areas if it is mixed use. Moving on to the recommendations for the comprehensive plan. Recommendation number 1, clearly define mixed use. So in the city of Tampa, a mixed use land category and a mixed use development are different, but perhaps not clearly explained. So it needs to be better defined. That way elected officials, staff, and the public can share similar expectations for mixed use development in the city. For recommendation number 2, require mixed use only in certain geographic areas. Generally, identifying the form, scale, and location of mixed-use developments will allow growth to occur and be directed in areas that can sustain it. Other jurisdictions appear to be purposeful and thoughtful to where mixed use geographically is located within their cities. Our research shows that specific policy supports this, and perhaps a secondary planning process or a geographic specific process in that jurisdiction supported that decision. We recommend initiating a similar process to fine-tune requirements to fit the needs and character of specific corridors or neighborhoods. Since the Tampa Comprehensive Plan already has policies specific to certain areas, these can be re-examined and built upon. In addition to these areas, we also recommend reevaluating the locations of mixed-use categories, as well as reviewing and updating location-specific policy promoting mixed-use development to align with best practices. The evaluations for recommendations 1 and 2 has been initiated already as part of the overall update to the Tampa Comprehensive Plan, as Jennifer Malone previously explained in her presentation. As the Planning Commission, again, is securing a consultant to look holistically at major components of the future land use section. So aspects of mixed use and the categories can be looked at as part of this study. For recommendation number 3, align policy with capital improvements. One of the major goals of mixed use development is creating a public realm that is safe and comfortable. This is a recommendation that will require more discussion with city staff. We recognize that capital improvement projects are planned out several years in advance, and so we need to coordinate with city staff on how to link up the projects and any other infrastructure improvement plans and studies, such as the Heights Mobility Study with mixed-use policy and category locations. These are some additional recommendations for code implementation that complement the recommendations that we are providing for the comprehensive plan. Examine the use of overlay districts. The City of Tampa currently utilizes overlay districts and special districts. These districts have regulations or design standards that apply specifically to these areas. When locations of desired mixed-use development are identified, these districts should be examined to determine if there is overlap or whether or not new districts are needed. Regulating first floor street front uses. This is a method of regulating vertical mixed-use development. It should incorporate performance criteria that considers development's mix of uses and their impact. For example, allowing the ability to construct the first floor of a mixed-use building for flexibility of uses and conversion between uses, such as residential to commercial or office, to account for changes in the market. Reduce parking minimums to encourage mixed-use development. Areas identified for mixed-use development should have reduced parking requirements. The Seminole Heights District already encourages this. Other Florida cities like West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale also allow a reduction of parking ratios for mixed-use and transit-oriented development. Establishing a minimum percentage requirement for mixed-use developments. So since each area of the City of Tampa varies in character and development pattern, a citywide threshold is not recommended for mixed-use development. Rather, establishing area-specific thresholds for developments in neighborhoods or special areas is recommended. I believe the City of Tampa staff has already begun collecting data and analyzing trends to determine specific numbers based on existing and approved projects. And to summarize, the City of Tampa Council meeting held on December 2nd, just last week. Planning Commission and City Planning staff provided an update on the issue of thresholds that should be used for mixed-use developments and presented the findings and recommendations from the study. The Council directed staff to coordinate with the Planning Commission staff to further refine the recommendations based on our study, specifically looking into the City of Fort Lauderdale's comprehensive plan policies and returning to Council on February 3rd, 2022 with an update. And that concludes my presentation. Staff from both the Planning Commission and the City is available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions, discussion on this one from the commissioners? Commissioner Powell?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Really great presentation. I just have one question, and it's more of a curiosity. The different jurisdictions and states that were part of this study, how were those and why were those selected? I see a lot of, like California specifically was, selected. How did we go about choosing, those areas to look at and compare ourselves to them?
Sure, great question, Commissioner. So we looked at population size, area sizes, also development patterns that were similar to the City of Tampa. We've had a lot of different staff members looking at this and kind of grab from their knowledge as well and their experiences as to which cities were interesting and interested in policies related to mixed use and which have implemented those policies rather successfully.
Okay. I was just curious. I don't know if there's going to be any more cities that might be, selected, but some of these I don't see us as being like, and obviously like Orlando and some of the other jurisdictions in the state, I find we're trying to be like them, Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, but like some other national cities like Austin, Nashville, where I've heard those cities being brought up before as what Tampa is being mimicked off of and experiencing the same type of growth. It would be great to see some of those larger cities that have had explosive growth like us be incorporated if possible.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Are there any more comments or questions? I did have two personal curiosity questions also, quick ones. On this comprehensive plan synthesis sheet, one thing I noticed really quickly, because I'm a dork, is that St. Petersburg and Orlando are exactly the same. And I was wondering what mixed use looks like in Orlando versus what it looks like in St. Pete. From your professional opinion, this is just a question I'm asking you, because clearly Orlando and St. Pete don't have the same exact looking mixed use when you look for mixed use development. So I'm wondering, even though the comp plans are the same, are there differences that sort of met out on the ground that you noticed in your research between Orlando and St. Petersburg specifically?
I would say one of the differences, I think that the city of St. Petersburg has a well-defined downtown area, and a lot of the mixed-use policies were directed in and around. As for Orlando, they focus mainly on corridors, so it was a little bit more spread out. So maybe that's why it doesn't present the same way between the two cities, even though they have similar policies.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I picked up that corridor statement. I figured that's what it was, but I just wanted to be sure that it was a corridor thing. All right, cool. And my next question was just another thing I noticed quickly looking at the chart was that the only two cities that allow a policy for using FAR in single-family residential are Tampa and Sacramento. And I was just wanted you to speak a little bit more about that, using an FAR for single-use residential. I was kind of curious as to why we do it in Tampa and nowhere else except for Sacramento, which gave me a little pause. No offense to Sacramento people, but, and you know, is there some benefit for us doing it and everybody else not doing it? Like nowhere else I see in this list of Florida state places does it except for the city of Tampa. So I just wanted you to speak a little bit on that FAR for single-use residential.
Sure, I'll actually defer to either Jay Collins or Stephen Benson for that question, or Jennifer Malone.
Yeah, Jennifer is the liaison. You want to take that? And then if there's anything you want to ask me, by all means.
Sure, I will caveat that I got up to grab a glass of water, so I only heard the end of the question, but I believe it was about the FAR for single-use residential, and the city of Tampa is a little unique in that. David Hay actually did some research on this for a different plan amendment, and I believe that it goes back to the 1998 Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and it was put in there to kind of give residential a competitive advantage over commercial development, and so that FAR for residential development would allow that competitive advantage, and it would allow developers to maybe build residential in areas where previously they would have built commercial. And as the city has grown, more and more developers have been taking advantage of it. And we've been looking into it and researching it, and that's as far as I can answer that question. I don't know if David Hay, who turned his camera on, has anything to add. Thank you.
Hi, this is David Hay. I would totally concur with Jennifer's summary of our findings. It's an historical kind of method to encourage the development of residential on the corridors.
Thank you. And I noticed that Ms. Malone also said that we've been doing well, not a good bit of them, but they've been done consistently. So is that something that we use pretty regularly? Because it's obviously an anomaly, but it's clearly a useful anomaly here.
It's up to the developers. I think throughout the years, especially in some areas of the city, we have seen more and more rezonings come through and utilize the FAR option for single-use residential. But as you all know, that as soon as it'll be effective early next year, that's going to be removed in South Tampa and New Tampa for single-use residential developments.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the information. Was there any more comments or questions from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any or anyone online at this time. I will thank you for the presentation and move on to our next item on the agenda. 4C, which is no longer on the agenda and was continued to the January 22nd cycle, Hccpa 21-21. We will not be hearing the briefing on it tonight, and we will see it in January. So we'll move on to item 4D, Hccpa 21-22, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, Big Bend Road and US Highway 41, and the presenter is Andrea Papandreou.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Andrea Papandreou, Planning Commission staff, presenting Hccpa 2122 Big Bend Road, and US Highway 41. The subject site is within the southwestern portion of the county and is the southernmost plan amendment for the cycle. This is a privately initiated map amendment. It is approximately 104.76 acres and is composed of 5 parcels. It is off Big Bend Road and US Highway 41. It is within the urban service area and the coastal high hazard area. It is located within the Apollo Beach and South Shore area-wide systems community plans. So the subject site is currently vacant and with public utilities on this northern parcel. Surrounding the site for land uses in the north are mostly public utilities and vacant land, light industrial, and a heavy industrial processing plant. To the south is public utilities, office and warehouse uses, and then further south is agricultural land. To the east is vacant light industrial land on the south eastern portion of Big Bend, and then across northeast is light industrial, light commercial uses at the intersection, a daycare, vacant land, and then a heavy commercial lumber mill. The adopted future land use is community mixed use 12. To the north of the site is the heavy industrial land use category. Light industrial surrounds the site on the east, south, and west of the site. To further south of the site is residential 20, residential 6, and a small pocket of office commercial 20. To the east across US Highway 41 is community mixed use 12, urban mixed use 20, and suburban mixed use 6. The proposal before you today is to change to the heavy industrial future land use category. The existing community mixed use 12 future land use category allows up to 1,257 dwelling units and up to a 0.50 FAR with about approximately 2.3 million square feet. Retail commercial can't exceed 650,000 square feet. No, the proposed heavy industrial future land use category does not allow any residential development on site except some accessory residential, which would be, for example, an on-site security guard. It would increase the intensity up to a 0.75 FAR, approximately 3.4 million square feet. And for the heavy industrial land use category, that FAR cannot be applied to processing, storage, or outdoor storage uses. If approved, this plan amendment would remove the currently permitted residential, community scale retail commercial, office, research corporate park, and mixed use multi-purpose land uses, and it would introduce heavy industrial and rural scale neighborhood commercial land uses. It would also remove the mix of land use requirements for projects 20 acres in size or greater. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item or comments from the commissioners? Not seeing any lights in the room or action online. We'll thank you for the presentation and move on to our next item, 4E, Hccpa 21-23, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, and the presenter is Sean College.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Sean College with Planning Commission staff. I'll share my screen. And you should be seeing my slides at this time.
Yes.
This is Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan Amendments 21-23, Coastal High Hazard Area Update. For the commissioners that were in attendance at the last few meetings, you may notice we had a similar plan amendment for the city of Tampa, and this is the corresponding plan amendment for unincorporated Hillsborough County's comprehensive plan. I'm going to try to advance my slides here. There we go. The background, this is a publicly initiated plan amendment. The state of Florida has recently updated their coastal high hazard area, and the update of the comprehensive plan is required by state law. There is no discretion at the local level, so this is kind of a housekeeping item where the The state determines the coastal high hazard area, and state law requires it to be adopted into the local comprehensive plan. So the subject of this plan amendment is to update the future land use map with the new coastal high hazard area. On your screen now is the current future land use map with the coastal high hazard area in a green line, depicted as a green line. This map will be deleted and replaced. On your screen is the updated map, and that green line depicting the coastal high hazard area has been updated. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Were there any discussion or questions or comments from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any lights or hands in the room at this time. We will thank you for the presentation and move on to our next item. And that is the briefing for 4F, Hccpa 21-24, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, Macintosh Road and Interstate 4, and the presenter is Krista Kelly.
Thank you very much. Krista Kelly, Planning Commission staff. Can you see the screen? Does everybody see it?
Not yet.
We aren't seeing it yet.
Okay, it should be there. Okay, let me try again. Let's see here. There we go.
Looks like it's coming through now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you. I'm presenting Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan 21-24. This is a future land use map amendment. The site's located in the eastern portion of the county. It's located on the north side of I-4, northwest of the interchange with Macintosh Road and I-4. The site fronts on the south side of Muck Pond Road, and to a smaller extent, Macintosh Road. Okay, this is a privately initiated map amendment, and it is in the rural area. It consists of 3 parcels totaling approximately 19 acres, and it is within the Htcpa community planning area. This is an aerial of the site. Just to give you some context, the site currently is undeveloped. It appears to be agricultural for its primary use. In this corner here, there is a retail use, and to the east of the site is a large camper sales and service facility. As you can see, the remaining areas surrounding the site on the north side of I-4 is rural residential and agricultural. This is the adopted future land use map showing the site currently designated residential 1, as well as the surrounding area is designated residential 1. As you see, there's a distinct change in land use on the south side of I-4, which is more intense with suburban mixed use 6, this pink area. The blue area is public, quasi-public. This is a high school, Strawberry Crest. And then again, more residential. The applicant is requesting a change to light industrial planned, and that's the gray color here. Under the current designation residential 1, up to 19 dwelling units could potentially be developed. Rural scale neighborhood commercial office multipurpose projects limited to 30,000 square feet or 0.25 FAR, whichever is less may be permitted. In this case, based on the size, it is capped at 30,000 square feet of non-residential. The proposed change to light industrial plan eliminates the residential use except for accessory uses such as on-site security guard structures. The FAR for light industrial plan is 0.75, which translates to approximately 620,000 square feet of non-residential uses. In this category, light industrial uses such as processing, manufacturing, recycling, and storage of materials are the predominant uses. And this also includes supporting uses such as offices, warehousing, and rural scale retail that meet locational criteria. Overall, this change would eliminate the residential use of the property and greatly increase the non-residential square footage allowed on site. And that concludes my presentation for this briefing on this plan amendment, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Krista. Commissioner Powell, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. How are they going to get water? Are they going to have to set up to use a well for a light industrial site? Is that allowed?
Yeah, I think that we have distributed this amendment out for agency comment to get an answer to that question. I can bring that answer back to you. I don't know at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Was there any more questions or comments from the commissioners? Discussion on this item? Not seeing any at this time. We'll thank you for the presentation and move on to our next item, Hccpa 21-25, Comprehensive Plan Amendment, Plan Map Amendment, Lutz Lake Fern Road, and the presenter is Krista Kelly again.
Thank you. Again, I'm Krista Kelly, Planning Commission staff, and I'm presenting Future Land Use Map Amendment CPA 2125. This site is located in the northwest portion of the county. It's on the north side of Lutz Lake Fern Road, and it's approximately a half a mile east of the Suncoast Parkway. This is a privately initiated map amendment. The site is in the urban service area. It's approximately 3 acres in size, and it's within the Keystone Odessa Community Planning Area. The aerial gives you an idea of the development pattern in the surrounding area, which is a fairly established suburban scale residential use and supporting community uses. Notable is this complex of schools. There's a elementary, middle, and high school adjacent to the site, literally within 600 or 800 feet from the site. Across the street is a large country club golf course. And then, as you can see, there's an abundance of suburban scale residential development. Okay, this is the adopted future land use map showing the site. Currently, it's agricultural rural 1 to 5, which means 1 unit per 5 acres. It is adjacent to residential 4 to the west. It's hard to see, but it's this color right here. This is the school, public, quasi-public. And then residential 1 and residential 2 also surrounding the site. And again, across the street, additional residential 1. The applicant's requesting a change to residential 4, similar or identical to the land use just directly to the west of the site. Currently, under the AR 1 to 5 land use category, 1 dwelling unit is allowable on site as it is a lot of record, even though it is under the 5 acre requirement. Rural scale neighborhood commercial office multi-purpose projects limited to 30,000 square feet or 0.25 FAR, whichever is less, would be allowed if locational criteria were met. The site under the residential 4 category would allow up to 12 units per acre, and suburban scale residential commercial office multi-purpose and mixed use projects limited to 175 square feet or 0.25, whichever is less. And again, this is contingent on meeting locational criteria. The impact would allow an increase of the number of dwelling units from 1 to 12 units, and potentially could allow the increase of non-residential square footage from 30,000 to 32,670 in the event that it did meet locational criteria. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about this amendment request.
Thank you. Are there any questions or discussions? Yes, Commissioner Handy, please.
I believe you said it was in the Keystone planning area. Is that correct?
Yes, Keystone, Odessa.
Okay, what does the community plan for that area have to say about this type of change or development?
Basically, you know, just to summarize that plan, it seeks to keep a rural character and a rural quality to the area overall. Because this is just a briefing and we're just getting started to look at the area, I don't have a specific policy to cite, but generally they don't seek to increase densities within that planning area.
Thank you. I actually was right there across the street at that golf course for an event last weekend.
Oh, really?
Traffic is horrendous on that road and in the nearby areas. So I think that's something that needs to be taken into consideration, as well as the desires of the local community plan. That's why I asked the question. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Handy. Any more questions or discussion on this item from the commissioners? Not seeing any at this time or hands raised. We'll thank you for the presentation and move on to our next item of business. And that would be 4H, Hccpa 21-26, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, Valrico Road and State Road 66. And the presenter is Carla Llanos.
Good afternoon. This is Carla Llanos. I will be presenting today for the first time, so allow me to share my screen. Give me one moment. Okay. Was that successful?
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you. Alrighty. So, again, my name is Carla Llanos. I am a senior planner with Unincorporated Hillsborough County Planning Commission, and today I will be presenting Hccpa 2021-26. Sorry, this is all new to me, so I'm trying to get familiarized with the screens. There we go. Okay, so so this is a privately initiated comprehensive plan map amendment. It's a small scale. It's approximately 12.8 acres within the urban service area. It is located southeast of South Valrico Road, the intersection with State Road 60. I'm sure you are all familiar with it. And out of the comprehensive plan amendments for today, it is in the middle out of all of them. And I have another one that's right next to it, but that's for the next presentation. The applicant is requesting a future land use change from residential 6 to residential 20. The property is surrounded by residential 6 future land use. However, to the north is residential 9 and to the south is residential 4. There is a small portion of office commercial, as you can see on the screen, to the east. And there is currently no residential 20 within proximity to the subject site. Now, the existing will allow for 115 dwelling units and roughly 140,000 square feet of commercial. The proposed does increase it almost by 200%, which is roughly 300,000 square feet. In addition, the residential does increase 123%, and it adds on 141 units for a total of 256 units. So that's kind of like the gist of it. I did review the uses within both categories, residential 9, which is the existing, and residential 20, which is the proposed. They are very similar. The only major difference is, again, the increases in density and intensity. Now, the next hearing is scheduled for January 13 of next year, and I will be glad to answer any questions if you have within regards to the application.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments, discussion on this item from the commissioners? Not seeing any lights or hands online. We will thank you for the presentation and move on to our next item. It is 4I, Hccpa 21-27, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, Miller Road and State Road 60. Again, Ms. Carla Llanos.
Have on technology. Screen. Okay, I think I got this. Okay, so before you again is another, is that 26? I have one.
Right now, you're currently muted. I can unmute you from here. Go ahead.
Thank you. I can't seem to figure out the screens. I'll promise I'll practice more. So before you is Unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan Amendment 2201-27. It's located at 2401 and 2427 State Route 60. Again, just for the record, my name is Carla Llanos, Senior Planner with CPPR Division. So this is a privately initiated comprehensive plan amendment to small scale. Just like the previous one that I presented, it's roughly 18.48 acres in size. It is within the urban service area, and it's located south of State Road 60 and east of Valrico Road. It's right at that intersection with South Miller Road, which is probably 2 to 3 parcels away from the previous one that I just presented. The subject property is currently within 2 future land use categories. It's in the residential 6 and the residential 4 future land use. They are proposing residential 20. Okay. Let's do that right. Okay, there we go. I apologize. So the property is surrounded by commercial and residential. The commercial is nearby is mostly composed of retail with few offices. The residential does vary for about half-acre lots to a quarter-acre lots. The future land use change will increase the amount of development impacts, more in particular with the non-residential portion. As you see on the screen, it actually increases it about 195%, and the residential increases for about 210%. The difference between this is because it's in the residential 4 land use category existingly. With the residential 20 that it's proposing, it will allow for multifamily development, which is typically larger than what is permitted in the residential 4. Other than that, it's pretty consistent with the other project that I previously presented. As I mentioned probably in the other presentation, there isn't a residential 20 within the area. So we'll be looking in depth with regards to compatibility with the amount of intensity that will be going. And that will conclude the briefing. And I can stand if you have any more questions.
Thank you, Ms. Llanos. Are there any questions or comments from the commissioners? Discussion? Yes, Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. Is it the same applicant for this as the one that we just heard? Are we going to be hearing these sort of like together or getting them combined?
That's a good question. It is the same applicant. However, I'm not sure. I would have to check with staff to see if that's possible to combine both presentations.
Seems like a good idea if we could. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Is there any more discussion from the commissioners on this item? Comments? Not seeing any. I will thank you for your first presentation and congratulate you, Ms. Llanos. And we will move on to our next item of business. Hccpa 21-28 Comprehensive Plan Text Amendment 10-Year Water Supply Facilities Work Plan. And the presenter is Diego Guerra.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Diego Guerra, Planning Commission staff. This is a briefing on the text amendment to the Unincorporated Hillsborough County's Comprehensive Plan. CPA 2128 serves as a 10-year water supply facilities work plan amendment. This is a publicly initiated amendment, and the 10-year water supply facilities work plan is required to be updated following the regional water supply plan, which occurred, water regional supply plan adoption, which occurred in November of 2020. The non-adoptable background documentation included in your packet includes a detailed analysis and report that examines projections, sources, and project options. This was a multi-agency coordination effort with information provided by Hillsborough County, Tampa Bay Water, and the Southwest Florida Water Management District. This is an update to the One Water chapter by replacing the existing table with the table in your packet and a modification to a policy in the capital improvements element. The purpose of the update is to fulfill statutory requirement to update the 10-year water supply facilities work plan with updates to the work plan table and a modification to capital improvement element policy 1.C.1.C as indicated in your packets. Ladies and gentlemen, no action is required at this time. The public hearing for this item is tentatively scheduled for January 10th, 2022. I'm available for any questions. We've also invited county staff. I'm not sure if they're on or not.
Thank you, Mr. Guerra. Are there any questions or comments, discussion of this item from the commissioners? Not seeing anyone in the room or anyone online. We'll thank you for the presentation, the information, and we will move on to our next item of business. Number 5, Executive Director's Report. Ms. Zornita.
Good afternoon, Melissa Zornita, Executive Director. At your seats, you should have an actual paper copy of the report this time. I did that because as I get through a couple of things, there are some dates on there I would like you all to look at. But reviewing what's occurred over the last month, I wanted to let you all know that I participated in the Transportation Planning Organization's Policy Committee meeting in November. There was a discussion on Fowler Avenue and the planning for premium or better bus rapid transit along that corridor, as well as the redevelopment of that corridor. And the county and city have asked our organization to take the lead in coordinating between the city, the county, Temple Terrace, HART, and FDOT on that project. So I think we're well suited because we serve all of those entities and have the transportation division within our organization. So happy to participate in that, and we'll be moving forward with that in the coming year. Also in early November, I had the kickoff meeting with our consultant, HR Soul, on our 2022 climate survey. For some of you all who have not been on the board when we've done this before, every other year we do a climate survey, which is not of the temperature, but of the culture of the organization, and wanting to get feedback anonymously from staff about their feelings about how things are going, how the organization is performing on its mission and values. And so that's something that will be conducted in January, and the results brought to you in February. That's the current timeline. Middle of the month, we found out that property owners in RP2 and the Waimama area appealed the plan amendments that were adopted by the Board of County Commissioners in October. So this is part of the process enabled by state law, is that after an amendment is adopted, affected interested party can do an administrative appeal of the action that goes to an administrative hearing officer. So I've been meeting with the county attorney's office on that process. It looks like there will be administrative hearings. I believe it's on RP2 in February and on the Waimama plan amendments in April. So it will be a considerable delay in the implementation of those plan amendments. It's been a little while since we've had an amendment go through that process. The last time was, I believe, after the 2011 or 2012 update of the Keystone Odessa Community Plan. A property owner appealed that action. So just something we have to work through. It's my understanding that the board at their December 14th land use meeting will discuss this issue and whether or not to consider extending the moratoriums to cover the time frame that these hearings will transpire. We're not quite done with Waimama and RP2 just yet, and happy to provide any information if you all are interested in that. Lastly, from the schedule, I wanted to highlight that on Friday, we had the first time that our entire staff has been together in, I don't know, 18, 20 months, something like that. We had an all-staff retreat. We had it at the Humane Society, which you might remember was one of the award winners from the Planning and Design Awards. They have a great facility in West Tampa, and were kind enough to let us utilize it. And it was really great to get everyone together. We've had approximately 14 staff hired since that time, so that's more than about a third of our staff turnover in the time that, and so it was really great to get everyone together again. And we have over 95% of our staff vaccinated, so that makes it easy to be able to do things like this. So, on the agenda as part of the packet in the under the Executive Director's Report is the 2022 meeting schedule. This returns all but 2 meetings to the second Monday in the month, which is our regular meeting date. All of the meetings will be held on the 18th floor in the Planning Commission boardroom. The county facilities is still in the process of putting up all of the plexiglass around the dais, but we anticipate that all 10 members will be able to sit around the dais on the 18th floor. The ex officio officers, myself, Tracy, the clerk, if the clerk is not virtual, would be on tables facing the dais. So it's not quite set up all the way there, but if you haven't had the opportunity to be in a meeting in the Planning Commission boardroom, I'd encourage you to take a peek in there and look at it. The 2 meetings that are not on the second Monday are May 2nd, because HTV had a conflict on the following Monday, and November 7th. There are a couple of times, 4 times throughout the year, where our meeting will be on the same evening as zoning hearing master meetings, which will mean that our meeting will not air live on HTV It will air through WebEx live for anybody who wants to view it, but it will not be on HTV. And that is something that I brought up with the county's Development Services Department that I had expressed before we scheduled the 2022 calendar, trying to avoid those conflicts. We're going to work to do better the next year. It's definitely a burden on HTV staff to have two things that they're recording at the same time. But if anybody has any problems with any of the dates as provided, okay. Hearing none, we'll move forward with that calendar. So the next thing I'd love for us to schedule is an opportunity for you all to have a Planning Commission retreat. We have a full Planning Commission, though I do understand this is Commissioner Linkas's last meeting before she goes abroad. But would love to look at some dates in February for a Planning Commission retreat. So I have a list on the page for you of dates, and if you want to look at your calendar like right now and tell me at the end of the meeting these ones work and these don't, that would be great. It'll save Sharon a bunch of emails out to you. We're looking at a portion of the team had the opportunity to tour Water Street last week, and in the SPP offices, they have a very large, almost auditorium-style meeting room that they offered to host your retreat in. It's very big and open. I think would accommodate us spacing out nicely within the facility. So that's where I would propose for us to go, and then they would be able to give us a tour for those who want to stay after and walk around the development. Assuming that the date that works for us works for them. Otherwise, I'll find another location. But that's what I was looking at, and would welcome your feedback on the dates in the break. And the only other thing that I wanted to mention, and I believe he's still on the WebEx, is that this meeting is Tony Garcia's last Planning Commission meeting. And we're going to have a number of celebrations to wish Tony well before his last day in the office, which is January 7th. But since that is just before your next meeting, I wanted to just mention it publicly that Tony has been a longstanding member of staff. I believe it's 28 years that he's been with the Planning Commission. He's been just indispensable to me as a part of our leadership team, and just consistent and dependable, and a wealth of knowledge about the city of Tampa. He knows so many people in the city and so much of the history of the city, and that's just been extraordinarily helpful to our team. So I wanted to acknowledge his retirement at this last meeting that he'd be at. So that concludes my report. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zornita. Anybody have any questions for her or discuss any of her items? Nope. All right. We will move on to our next. Well, thank you for the information. And we will move on to our next item of business, other business, chair's business, none. Old business. I don't think we have any. Is there any new business anyone wants to raise right now? Nope. All right. Committee reports. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the affordable housing update, there was no meeting for December, so I have no update on that. For the information committee, you're going to just be on the lookout. I think sometime next week, Lynn's going to be sending out calendar invites for everyone to participate in, so we can just do a wrap up on our planning design awards and go over the numbers on that. So please be on the lookout for that. And I did attend the TPO meeting last month, and a little overwhelmed, but I will have a better update next month as I understand a little bit more on that.
Thank you. All right. Yes, Commissioner Rodriguez.
Yes. On November 17th, we had a meeting of the City of Tampa Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. We received an update on the activities of the Housing and Community Development Division, and we also helped prepare the presentation to City Council, which we had several committee members as well as city staff be a part of on December 2nd, where we discussed the functions of the Affordable Housing Committee and the incentives that we were proposing to go into our annual plan this year. And just a quick summary of that would be expedited process of development approvals, fee waivers for affordable housing, reduced parking requirements, and affordable accessory dwelling units, as well as flexibility in density for multifamily and mixed use. So those were the incentives that we're recommending the city go forward with this year in our annual plan. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right. Were there any more reports? Any of the commissioners' committee reports? All right. Not seeing any, then we will move on to our final item of business, adjournment. We will come back at 5 p.m., Melissa, is that good? 5:30, okay, 5:30. 5:30 for our public hearings. With that, thank you everybody for being here, and we'll see you at 5:30. This meeting's adjourned.